Hey everyone, Flip Anything USA, Tom here. As you know, on my blog, talk about how I made my fortune in real estate starting at 19, millionaire by 28, and that was a long time ago. I continue to do the same things and I enjoy sharing it with you. So today I thought we'd talk more about coronavirus and any other subject. I was trying to do a live chat, but internet's terrible, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. So, I'm actually sick right now. I'm actually enjoying a little wine. Just been laying around the pool all day today and taking it easy. So a lot of people panic over this coronavirus stuff, and there's reason to be concerned about, if you got a job that's dependent on, tourism and that sort of thing, of course you're concerned. But I think this is going to pass. Just looking at the numbers, a lot of this stuff gets politicized. And I can tell you right now, I don't think this is going to last. The reason, it's about a 3% death rate. So you got a 97% survival rate, and that 3% that's dying is pretty much people over 70 in poor health. So that, most people are safe. I got a mother up the street in a retirement home. And right now you can't even go in there unless they check your temperature, before you even try to go. I haven't even tried to go in because I know I'm sick. I think I maybe have the flu. I actually got, and by the way, if you're over 50, you should get a shot for pneumonia. There's actually a pneumonia vaccine, something I did not know. But get a pneumonia vaccine, or tell your parents get a pneumonia vaccine, and it's important. And also, I get a flu shot every year. I got a crazy sister. She refuses to get vaccinated, doesn't let her kid get vaccinated, and I think it's ridiculous, but that's her deal. Anyways, what I want to say today is I want to talk about what's going on. So, like, I got an offer on one of my properties. It's worth easily $310, $320. I'm asking $330, and so I got a bottom feeder come in and made an offer of $210. That's just his way of trying to slap me down. And look, I do the same thing. So if you have that kind of situation, you can play with those guys if you want to. I'm too tired and sick to mess with it. But, I might have just let him say, see if you can sweeten that off a little bit. And I might have wasted his time all day. But I just gave him a flat. Don't bother me unless it's over 300. Or actually, I told my agent, don't bring me an offer less than 300. Just refuse anything. And that's people trying to get that are paranoid over the market. Now, what's funny is my email has lit up, totally lit up. Now, the reason that is because, and not about my retail properties, not about my residential properties. Like y'all know, if you own a home already, you'll get the bright orange cards and the different mailers. And I do those things too, but I don't do the bright color cards. I think that's a mistake. If you get my book, you'll know why. Anyways, what happens in times like this is the interest rate just went down substantially on, so commercial loans, right now you can get in the low 4s. A friend of mine got one actually in the high 3s, and that was before the drop, which I'm pretty amazed. Anyways, I was just prepping to get a line of credit for $1.7 million against one of my other properties, which I told you guys I'm going to do a reverse 1031, so that's the purpose of that. Well, that banker's been hounding me because she wants to get this thing signed before the interest rates go any lower. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to wait till the Fed meets again because I think they're going to take another quarter point off, or maybe at least an eighth. So I'm waiting on that. So, if you got my book, I have a chapter on leapfrogging, okay? In fact, I could read it to you. Maybe I should read it to you. Okay, this is very important. And I'm not saying it necessarily comes in to play today because I don't think you need to panic and do a sell-off. There's my book. You can get it for $10 on Kindle. Got some awesome reviews. Let me read you a chapter out of this. This is important. You should know. I've already done a good video on leapfrogging, which if you get the Kindle book, you'll see that I have links to videos about this stuff. So here's leapfrogging. That's chapter 27. Okay, so let me find that chapter. All right, so this is from my book. Leapfrogging is a term I use for getting ahead of what's to come, okay? Let me explain with an example. Flashback. In my book, I have what we call flashbacks. See that? Flashback. That's me flashing back to a real event, a real story where I've done. Okay, an agent put up a property for auction with a true value of $225,000, and he did the starting bid. He was taking bids all day. He wanted to start, I don't know why he started $100,000. It was a ridiculous idea, but he did. Anyhow, starting at a bid of 100,000. Because I understand the market so well after 35 years of working in the field of real estate, I knew the bidding would slowly go up to 110, 120, and so on until it finally reached the true value by the end of the day. Now, I could sit there all day and end up paying the full value for the property, or I could leapfrog, okay? Leapfrog ahead of everybody else. Here's how I did it. I arrived at the auction first thing in the morning, and this is an informal auction, kind of a blind auction. I did it. I arrived at the auction first thing in the morning at its very start, and I immediately offered $160,000 for the property. I knew this was higher than the opening bids they may have already had and received, but it was still considerably lower than the actual value. I actually knew that there was two other people. One had bid 100, said full price 100, the other one said I'll give you 110. Well, they would bid that all day till 5 o'clock, and then at 5 o'clock everybody's coming home, they see the sign, and then it would go through, through the stratosphere. It'd get full price. Okay, so I made an offer 50,000 higher than everybody else at that time in the morning. Now I'll continue to read. When I made my offer, I also said, I'll give you 160,000 cash for it right now if you take down the signs immediately and call the owner with the offer. The offer will only stand until 1 p.m. this afternoon. Then we'll close it in 3 days. I showed the agent that I had more than enough money in the bank to make the payment. Showed him, I just basically pulled out my app that showed how much cash I have in the bank. Now, I know not everybody can do that, but this is the story. At first, the agent hesitated. Well, I've already told a lot of people about the auction, he said. I said, I don't care, I responded. I want this property, but I'm not going to buy it after 1 p.m. I'm making the offer right now. If you take down the signs, but if you don't want to take it, then I'll just leave. He asked me to put my offer in writing and email to him, then and there, which I did. So I sat there on my cell phone, I remember this very well, and I sat there and I made an offer in a text and or an email, and I sent it to him and I said, you got it? And he said, I got it. And then he forwarded it to the seller. I left and he called me back before 1 p.m. to say that we had a deal. That smart owner said, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. This is what I call leapfrogging. You jump ahead of everybody else because you understand where the sales are going to go. And you use that knowledge to make an offer that will get you the deal before the prices escalate. Once I cut a check for that property, I made sure the contract was signed right then and there. Bear in mind that it's very important to get things signed immediately. Can't emphasize enough. Get the deal signed. Here's another example of leapfrogging when you're the one selling the property. Let's say the market is in a particular area that is dropping drastically. Okay, now I say this, I don't think things are necessarily dropping because of this coronavirus, but let's just say they continue to do so. This is something I would do. So let's say the market is in a particular area, is dropping drastically, and you could easily get caught in it losing a lot of money on the property you're selling. Say the property started out selling for $280,000, but they've gradually gone down until now they're going for $230,000 to $240,000. Maybe the big company in the area laid everybody off, and they're all being forced to move out fast. If you sit and wait, knowing that the market is going to continue to drop, you could end up having to sell your property for as little as $100,000, or for far less than what the property is, going to be worth again, or far less than you paid for it. So that's just leapfrogging the other way. What I do is, if I see things are going downhill, like I leapfrogged on the $50,000 more than everybody to get the deal because I knew it was worth more, I leapfrog and cut my prices more, so that I'm the most attractive property to sell, and I get it sold before the downfall catches up to the price I made. Okay, back to my chapter. So if you leapfrog instead, you could go ahead and offer your property for sale at, say, $50,000 less than everybody else at the time. In this case, it would be about $190,000, assuming the property's worth $240 at that moment. If you do that, you'll likely sell your property right away and make more than those who will wait, hoping in vain that the property values won't continue to drop. By leapfrogging, you can get yourself out of the situation with as little harm to your bank account as possible. Leapfrogging is how you beat everybody to the punch. In order to do it intelligently, though, you have to know what value is. As I always tell you, and then I've got a link in here of where to go in one of my leapfrogging. So that's in my book, by the way. And if you get the Kindle version, you can just click and go watch the link. So I'm not saying we're there yet, but if you've been watching, you know I've got 4 houses around the corner, another one 4 miles away. All of them are getting fixed up, ready to sell, mostly just the interiors. They're probably worth roughly $475 as of 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I planned on asking $550 to $650, and because I believe they were worth that 2 weeks ago. Now, I may not get the full value that I hope for, but here's the other thing that people don't realize. Interest rates just dropped drastically. So somebody that's pre-qualified that can get a loan right now, they can afford to pay more for my property today than they could last week, and their payment would be the same. So in other words, because the interest rate dropped, let's say they were going to support a $300,000 or $400,000 loan, and the payment was going to be $2,000 a month. Well, today they could support a loan, say, for $420,000, and it would be the same monthly payment amortized over the same amount of time as it would be if it was $400,000 2 weeks ago. That's because it dropped a half a point. And I'm not saying, I'm just rounding off, but you get the point. It's important. There's a lot of things to know, but it's all really mostly common sense. And that's what I try to push. People say, how do you do it? And I say, man, it's just math. It's just math. I don't pay more for a property than it's worth. I pay less for a property than it's worth. And that's how I do it. Now, of course, there's a lot of things you got to do diligently to find those deals, but you can do it. Every day, somebody's getting divorced, somebody's breaking up a partnership, somebody's dying, somebody made some disastrous mistake, and they got to sell. There's all kinds of reasons and they happen in every town in the world, okay, in the world. So this isn't just for the USA. Everywhere this happens, okay? So that's what I was going to talk about. And so the other thing I was going to tell you about is, right now, my email's lighting up, like I started to say earlier. And the reason that is because people that were kind of kicking the tires on some of my properties, my big retail properties, stuff I'm not even selling. I have one that I've been considering selling. And I reached out to a neighboring owner and I says, hey, listen, if you ever want to buy this, let me know. I'm not in a hurry, but it's the most logical purchase for them. They own the property next door. So sure enough, I got an email today from their people. It's a big outfit. And they're doing really well, making a lot of money. And they've already bought 2 buildings in the area, one for $3.8 million and one for $2 million. And mine's bigger than the one that they sold for $2 million. So I would love to have a coordinated sale and get roughly $2 million. If you're watching, that's not a firm deal, but something like that. I would love to get $2 million and then use that money strategically to buy something for more. That's why I'm getting this other line of credit right now for $1.7 million, getting ready to buy something bigger. So my point is things are far from dead. The phones are lighting up because people go, wow, I can borrow money really cheap right now. Now, people are afraid to buy real estate. They're afraid it might go down, and you have to figure that out in your own area. There's things to consider in your area. If you're in a big tourist area, values are going to probably drop a little bit in some respects and that's only short term, but that's because, there's no people coming to town. And, my daughter told me this, hey, Dad, I'm going to go to Greece in 3 months. I go, no, you're not. So I said, just ban travel from Europe. That's what's happening right now. But what I would say is I am not shaken at all. And, I'm a savvy real estate investor, been doing this a long time, made a lot of money. And I would just tell you, if you're a little bit tight and pinched and you have an opportunity to sell the property that you have, sell it and just get your cash and then sit and wait for an opportunity. If you're a little more comfortable than that, then this is going to pass. But, you can never get hurt taking a profit. Hank Booker, one of my mentors, he made a lot of money in LA area, and really good guy, but those are his words. You can never get hurt taking a profit. And that's stuck, and it's true. It may hurt a little bit not making as much profit as you could have. And believe me, I wish I'd have put these properties I have on the market, I wish I'd have put them on a month ago, but I wasn't ready. So, but whatever, if I end up taking a 20% hit on these prices, if what I sell, what could have been 600 sells for, 480, no big deal. Because relative to the market, and like I tell you this all the time, the way I buy based on what the market is right now. So relative to the market, if I have to sell it for 20%, if I decide it is 20% under market, I'll cut them loose. I'm not going to be emotional about it. I'll sell it. I'll get that cash. And whatever I buy is going to also be equally affected by the market. And I will beat up that seller and I will negotiate the best deal I can. And so it's a wash. It's kind of a wash, right? It's like the dollar's been devalued, although, you know, because you're even though you don't have as much money to spend, it's going to go further because the real estate has dropped everywhere a little bit. So I would just say don't panic. You know, now I don't own stock at all. So, you know, and I know it's very difficult for people that have stock to want to sell their stock, and I wouldn't sell it personally, and I don't know much about it, but common sense tells me if it drops like a rock, it'll probably come back pretty quick too. Because I think all this is going to go away. As soon as they're supposedly going to have it, the ability, at least in my town, they're going to be able to test, you know, at any office, they said, I don't know, I think 5,000 people a day. So that's a lot. So they're going to be able to cover it quite nicely. And I feel really good. I feel really great about our president, by the way. I think he's doing a great job. I know people like to kick him. It's easy to push him, but really it's on your governors. It's on your governors of each of these states to pick up the slack, and your mayors. And we got a lot of shitty mayors. So anyways, that's it. Sorry I couldn't do a live deal. So that's it. Hey, be sure to get my book. It's the best $10 you'll ever spend. There's a really, really great testimonial. Even if you don't buy the book, go to the Kindle site on Amazon and look for the testimonial. I got a video testimonial from a Jeb Fuller. I don't know the guy, but man, thanks Jeb. Hell of a testimony. I really appreciate it. It's nice being recognized for the information he appreciates, and he's a smart guy, and he knows he's an experienced real estate person. So it says a lot. It means a lot coming from him. So anyways, you can read a few chapters on there for free if you want. But oh, here, I'll tell you something. So I'm sick. I'll tell you another quick little story. So I'm feeling sick, and I go to my doctor, and you know, he has I say, you know what, I want to get my chest x-rayed. I want to make sure I don't have cancer or pneumonia or whatever. And so he sends me to get the test. And now they can x-ray your chest, like walk-in clinic, boom, test it, send you back out, have the image results in, you know, a few minutes or an hour. So I went in, got the x-ray done, went home, laid down, and I got a cell phone call. And it's my doctor, right? My doctor, he's kind of my buddy. We've had lunch and stuff like that. And he's actually asked me to mentor his sons at one time on real estate. Anyhow, but I'm like, oh crap, what's this? I'm like scared, it's bad news. He's calling me. And he calls me and I said, hey doc, what's up? And he goes, hey Tom, he goes, I want to get your book. He goes, I don't have Kindle. How do I get it? How do I get it on my phone? So I said, oh, just go download the app. I was relieved, right? So just go get the app and you can get it and get it on your phone. So then a couple hours goes by. And I get another call from him. I'm going, oh no, great, what's this? And so I answered, I said, hey doc, what's up? And he says, hey, I've already read 3 chapters of your book. He goes, whatever happened to Sandy? And there's a girl I mentioned in the book. Anyways, so again, quite relieved. It wasn't about, you know, I'm not dying of cancer or something like that. And anyways, so that was nice. He was very complimentary, loved the book. He really enjoyed it. And so we hang up. And then about 2 hours later, he texted me. And he texted me the results of my test and said, hey, Tom, everything looks great. And, you know, and he sent me the report saying chest is clear, no issues. So anyways, that's it. So FlipAnything USA, share, subscribe, hit that notifications button. Please get involved, stop, talk. I may not be the best communicator, but believe me, I can get out a lot of great information. There's a lot in here. You know, I don't have gray hair on the outside, but I'm getting gray on the inside. And I want to get this out and help as many people as I can. So that's it. Cheers. Bye.